Chosen ones, listen to me very carefully. I have an urgent and powerful message to release today, and this message is not for everyone. If you are not walking the divine path of God, if your heart is closed to truth, if you mock spiritual things, then this message is not meant for you. You may leave now. But if you are a true follower of God, if your spirit has been awakened, if you know deep within that you are chosen for something greater, then this message has reached you at the exact right moment. This is not an accident. Heaven has timed this perfectly for you. Today, God is speaking through a channel many people ignore. Your pet. Yes, the one living quietly beside you. Your pet is warning you, and the warning is serious. A big disaster is approaching, not just in the physical world, but in the spiritual and emotional realms as well. If you've noticed strange behavior, unusual restlessness, or deep staring from your pet lately, stay with me. What I'm about to reveal will bring clarity, protection, and peace. Stay till the very end, because missing even one part of this message could cost you understanding. Before we continue, chosen ones, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share it with other chosen ones, and comment 777 to declare that you are aligned, aware, and ready to receive what God is revealing now.
The spiritual role of animals in God's creation. Chosen ones, let me slow this down and speak to you like a wise teacher sitting across from you, looking you straight in the eyes. Animals are not random creations. They are not accidental life forms placed on this earth without purpose. In God's design, nothing is wasted, nothing is meaningless. And animals, especially those who live close to humans, carry a role that modern minds have forgotten, but ancient wisdom always understood. Animals were created before many things that humans now dominate. They were present when the earth was still pure, when the spiritual atmosphere was not polluted by fear, pride, and confusion. Because of this, animals remained sensitive to the original rhythm of creation. They feel shifts long before humans do. They sense changes in the spiritual environment the same way they sense storms before clouds appear. This is not superstition. This is divine order. You see, chosen ones, humans were given authority, but animals were given perception. Humans were given speech, but animals were given awareness. That awareness was never taken away from them. While humans became distracted by noise, ambition, and survival, animals stayed connected to the present moment. That is why they react before danger arrives. That is why they become uneasy when something unseen approaches. They are not anxious. They are alert. In scripture and spiritual tradition, animals have always responded to divine movements. They moved when floods were coming. They reacted when judgment approached. They sensed holiness, danger, and separation. Animals do not reason the way humans do. They do not argue with intuition. When they sense something, they respond immediately. That makes them reliable witnesses in times of spiritual transition. Now listen closely. Not everyone receives warnings through animals. This is important. Pets do not act as messengers for everyone. They respond more strongly to those who are spiritually sensitive, emotionally aligned, and walking in obedience. That is why chosen ones often feel deeply connected to animals. You may have noticed this your entire life. Animals trust you quickly. They calm down around you. They follow you. They watch you closely. That is not coincidence. That is recognition. Animals can sense spiritual authority. They can sense peace. They can sense conflict. They can sense when a soul carries light or carries unrest. This is why your pet reacts to your emotional state even when you say nothing. They respond to your inner world, not your outer words. When something shifts in the unseen realm, your pet feels it through you and around you. Many people think animals are simply reacting to environmental changes, but chosen ones know better. Your pet is not just responding to sound or routine, They are responding to atmosphere, spiritual atmosphere, emotional atmosphere, divine atmosphere. When God begins to allow shaking, exposure, or transition, animals feel the pressure before humans do. They become unsettled not because they are afraid, but because they are aware. Let me tell you something comforting now. Animals do not warn to create fear. They warn to create readiness. They are not announcing destruction. They are announcing change. And change always comes before growth, separation, or elevation. Your pet is not predicting doom. Your pet is responding to movement. Movement in the spiritual realm always precedes visible events. This is why animals often become more attached to chosen ones during times of transition. They stay close. They watch you sleep. They position themselves near doors or windows. They follow you from room to room. This is not random behavior. This is guardianship instinct activated by spiritual awareness. They are doing what they were designed to do: watch, protect, alert. Chosen ones understand this deeply. God does not always send warnings through thunder or prophecy spoken by men. Sometimes he sends warnings through stillness, through intuition, through behavior changes that require discernment. Animals are part of that quiet language of God. Those who are spiritually asleep will miss it. Those who are awakened will recognize it. This is also why many people laugh when they hear that pets sense danger. They mock what they do not understand. They dismiss what they cannot control. But you are not like them. You are chosen because you listen beyond the surface. You observe. You reflect. You feel before you react. That is why this message is reaching you now. Your pet is not higher than you. Your pet is not more spiritual than you, but your pet is more sensitive to shifts in the unseen. And God, in his wisdom, allows that sensitivity to serve as an early signal for those who are meant to prepare, not panic. Let this calm you. Let this ground you. There is nothing wrong with your pet. There is nothing wrong with you. Something is simply changing. And when God allows change, he always sends warning first to those he intends to protect. This is not fear. This is favor. In the next part, I will explain why your pet's behavior has changed specifically now, and what kind of shifts they are responding to. Stay present. Stay calm. You are being guided. Chosen ones, let me take this even deeper, because some of you are still trying to understand this with the mind instead of the spirit. Animals do not live in tomorrow or yesterday. They live in now. That alone gives them an advantage. While humans are trapped in memories, regrets, plans, and worries, animals stay rooted in the present moment, and the present moment is where spiritual shifts are first felt. When something is about to change, the present moment tightens. The air feels heavier, the silence feels louder. You may not notice it consciously, but your body often does. Your pet notices it immediately. That is why they may suddenly stare into empty spaces, react to nothing you can see, or seem unsettled without any clear reason. They are not imagining things. They are sensing tension in the unseen realm. Another thing many chosen ones overlook is this. Animals are not corrupted by pride, ambition, or rebellion. They do not resist divine order. They submit naturally to it. Because of that, they align easily with God's movements. When something is being shifted, removed, exposed, or corrected, animals respond instinctively. Humans, on the other hand, resist. They question. They delay. That is why humans often suffer shock, while animals simply adjust. Your pet is not trying to scare you. They are not predicting catastrophe. They are responding to a tightening of spiritual pressure. Pressure always comes before release. Pressure comes before correction. Pressure comes before elevation. And for chosen ones, pressure is never meant to destroy. It is meant to refine. Let this truth bring you peace. If God is allowing your pet to sense something, it means you are meant to be ahead of it, not crushed by it. Awareness is protection. Sensitivity is not weakness. And being warned is not punishment. It is evidence that you are seen, guarded, and deeply known by God. Remain calm. Remain observant. You are not in danger. You are being prepared. Why your pet is acting differently right now. Chosen ones, I want you to breathe for a moment and listen without fear. Nothing strange is happening by accident. If your pet has been acting differently lately, there is a reason, and that reason is not random, emotional, or meaningless. I am going to explain this to you slowly, clearly, and calmly, so your spirit stays grounded and your mind stays at peace. Right now, many of you have noticed subtle but persistent changes. Your pet may be more restless than usual. They may follow you everywhere. They may stare at you deeply or stare into empty spaces. Some of them refuse to leave your side. Others suddenly isolate themselves. Some wake up at odd hours. Some become unusually protective, and some act as if they are waiting for something they cannot explain. Let me say this clearly. Your pet is not sick. Your pet is not broken. Your pet is responding to a shift. Animals do not react to news headlines, social noise, or human speculation. They react to atmosphere. When the spiritual and emotional environment begins to change, animals feel it immediately. They feel pressure before humans do. And right now, pressure is building. This pressure does not mean destruction is guaranteed. Pressure means alignment is happening. Pressure means something that has been unstable, false, or hidden is being confronted. Pressure always appears before separation, correction, or exposure. And animals sense this tightening before it becomes visible. Chosen ones, you must understand something important. When God prepares to move, He does not always announce it loudly. Sometimes He shifts the environment quietly. Your pet feels this quiet shift the same way they feel an approaching storm long before the sky changes color. You may be wondering why this is happening now. Why not months ago? Why not years ago? The answer is simple. The timing is connected to you. You are entering a phase of spiritual transition. Whether you recognize it or not, something in your life is about to change. A relationship, a belief, a direction, a season, or an attachment that no longer aligns with your calling. Your pet is reacting to the tension between what is ending and what is about to begin. Animals often respond more strongly when the human they are bonded to is carrying internal pressure. You may feel calm on the surface, but deep inside, your spirit knows something is shifting. Your pet feels that inner tension before you consciously acknowledge it. They mirror it. They guard you through it. They stay close because they sense vulnerability, not weakness, but transition. Some of you have pets that suddenly seem anxious for no obvious reason. Others have pets that suddenly seek more physical contact. This is not because danger has arrived. It is because something unseen is approaching, and animals respond by anchoring themselves to what feels safe. For your pet, that safety is you. Chosen ones, hear me carefully. Animals do not panic the way humans do. When they sense change, they do not spiral into fear. They become alert. They become watchful. They become present. That is exactly what you are being called to do as well. Your pet may also be reacting to emotional and spiritual exhaustion around you. Many chosen ones are carrying more than they admit. You absorb energy, you carry burdens, you hold space for others, and lately the weight has been heavier. Animals feel that weight. They respond by becoming more protective, more attentive, or more restless because they are trying to stabilize the environment. This is also why some pets seem to stare into corners, doorways, or empty rooms. They are not seeing monsters. They are sensing shifts in atmosphere. Spiritual movement creates ripples. Those ripples are felt before they are understood. Now listen closely, because this is important. Not every behavioral change in an animal means danger. But consistent, unusual changes that align with inner shifts in your life are signals. Signals to slow down. Signals to pray more. Signals to observe instead of react. Signals to remain spiritually awake. Your pet is not predicting the future. Your pet is reacting to the present moment becoming heavy with transition. Think of it this way. When pressure builds underground, the earth responds before anything breaks the surface. Animals feel that underground pressure. Some of you may be tempted to dismiss this. You may say it is stress, routine, or coincidence. But chosen ones are not meant to dismiss intuition. You are meant to discern calmly. Fear clouds discernment. Peace sharpens it. Your pet's behavior is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to slow you down. It is meant to bring you into awareness. Awareness is protection. Awareness is preparation. Awareness keeps you steady while others become confused. Let me comfort you here. If something truly destructive was imminent for you, you would feel panic, chaos, and confusion. That is not what you are feeling. You are feeling alertness. You are feeling curiosity. You are feeling the need to understand. That means this warning is not about harm. It is about readiness. God does not warn his chosen ones to scare them. He warns them to prepare them. Preparation does not always mean action. Sometimes preparation means stillness, reflection, alignment, rest. Your pet is acting differently right now because the environment around you is shifting. Something old is loosening its grip. Something new is approaching. And before humans understand change, animals feel it. Do not fear this. Respect it. In the next part, I will explain the true nature of the coming disaster and why it may not be what you think at all. Stay calm. Stay with me. You are not alone in this. Chosen ones, I want to add one more layer of understanding here because some of you are feeling unsettled, not because of fear, but because of uncertainty. And uncertainty often feels heavier than fear itself. Your pet's behavior is not asking you to worry. It is asking you to pay attention. Right now, many of you are standing at a spiritual crossroads, even if it doesn't look dramatic on the outside. Decisions are forming beneath the surface. Truths are surfacing slowly. Illusions you once tolerated are becoming uncomfortable. Animals feel that inner friction immediately. They respond by becoming more alert, more attached, or more withdrawn because they are sensing instability that has not yet become visible. This is also why your pet may react strongly to certain people entering your space. They may bark, hide, or stay unusually close to you around specific individuals. Animals sense intention before behavior. They feel energy before words. If your pet suddenly becomes uneasy around someone, do not panic, but do not ignore it either. Discernment is quiet, not dramatic. Let this season teach you something valuable. Slow down your reactions, deepen your awareness, strengthen your connection with God. Your pet is not signaling disaster so you can run. They are signaling transition so you can remain steady. Nothing is out of control. You are being guided through awareness, not fear. The nature of the coming disaster. Chosen ones, now we arrive at the part many people misunderstand, and I want you to stay very calm as I speak. When you hear the word disaster, your mind may immediately jump to destruction, loss, chaos, or fear. That is how the world defines disaster. But God does not speak the language of panic. He speaks the language of purpose. So let me correct your understanding gently, firmly, and truthfully. The coming disaster is not what most people think it is. In God's design, a disaster is not always an explosion. It is often an exposure. It is not always collapse. It is correction. It is not always loss. It is separation. And for chosen ones, disaster is rarely meant to harm you. It is meant to remove what cannot go with you into the next season. You see, chosen ones, much of what looks stable in this world is built on illusion, false security, false identity, false attachments. And when God decides that a season has ended, He does not negotiate with what is no longer aligned. He allows shaking. That shaking feels like disaster to those who cling to what is being removed. But to those who are prepared, it feels like relief. The disaster that is approaching is first spiritual, then emotional, and only sometimes physical. It begins in the unseen realm. That is why animals sense it first. That is why your spirit feels alert rather than terrified. Something that has been tolerated for too long is being confronted. Something hidden is being exposed. Something unstable is being corrected. This could manifest as relationships falling apart suddenly, truths coming out that change how you see people, systems failing that you once relied on, emotional breakdowns that force healing, or internal awakenings that no longer allow you to live comfortably in compromise. To the unprepared, this feels like destruction. To the chosen, it feels like clarity. Let me be very clear with you. God does not bring disaster to punish his chosen ones. He brings shaking to protect them. If he allowed you to remain attached to what is about to collapse, that would be cruelty, not love. Warning is mercy. Exposure is mercy. Separation is mercy. This is why your pet is reacting. Animals sense instability before collapse. They feel tension before release. They feel when something is being loosened at its foundation. That does not mean your life is about to fall apart. It means something that no longer belongs in your life is losing its grip. Chosen ones, I want you to understand something very important. Disaster is not always external. Sometimes the greatest disaster is the death of an old version of you, an identity you outgrew, a belief that kept you small, a pattern that kept you stuck. When that version begins to dissolve, it feels uncomfortable. It feels unfamiliar. It feels like loss. But it is actually liberation. Many of you have been protected from harm not because you were strong, but because you were obedient. That obedience is now being refined. God is preparing you for a higher level of responsibility, clarity, and authority. But you cannot carry old baggage into a new calling, so it must be shaken loose. This is where fear tries to enter. Fear tells you that disaster means danger. Faith tells you that disaster means transition. Panic says something is going wrong. Discernment says something is being corrected. Notice how you feel right now as you listen. You are not overwhelmed. You are not confused. You are attentive. That is not the reaction of someone about to be destroyed. That is the reaction of someone being prepared. For many chosen ones, the coming disaster will look like chaos around you, not within you. Others will panic. Others will rush. Others will cling desperately to systems and relationships that are failing. You will feel an inner stillness, not because nothing is happening, but because you were warned. Let me say this with authority. God always separates his people before judgment reaches its peak. He warns before collapse. He reveals before exposure. He prepares before transition. That is why this message reached you now, not later, not after the fact. Now, the disaster is not chasing you, it is passing by you. However, this does not mean you should be careless or arrogant. Awareness is not permission to ignore. Awareness is instruction to remain aligned. This is not the season to rush into decisions. It is the season to observe, pray, and remain grounded. Panic makes people impulsive. Peace makes people wise. Some of you will witness emotional breakdowns in people close to you. Some will see truth surface in families, workplaces, or communities. Some will experience sudden endings that feel abrupt but necessary. These are not signs that God has left. They are signs that God is cleaning house. And yes, for a small number, there may be physical disruptions. But even then, the chosen ones are not caught off guard. They are positioned. They are guided. They are protected through awareness. Do not confuse warning with doom. Warning is a gift. It gives you time to adjust your posture, to release resistance, to loosen attachments, to strengthen faith, to simplify life, to listen more than you speak. This disaster is not designed to destroy your peace. It is designed to remove what threatens your peace in the long run. If something leaves your life during this season, let it go. If something collapses that you depended on too heavily, trust God to rebuild it correctly or replace it entirely. If truth hurts at first, let it heal you fully. Your pet is not reacting because your future is dark. They are reacting because movement has begun. Movement always precedes manifestation. Remember this, chosen ones. Storms do not come to erase the earth. They come to cleanse the air. And after the air clears, vision becomes sharper. You are not being warned because you are weak. You are being warned because you are trusted. In the next part, I will explain why chosen ones are always warned first, and why subtle signs are used instead of loud announcements. Stay steady. You are exactly where you need to be. Chosen ones, let me add this final layer so your heart stays settled and your mind stays clear. One of the reasons this coming disaster feels difficult to define is because it is not meant to arrive all at once. It unfolds in stages. First comes awareness, then separation, then clarity, and finally, peace. Those who ignore the early stages experience the later ones as shock. Those who pay attention move through them with grace. This is why your spirit has not been filled with fear. Fear belongs to those who are unprepared. You are experiencing discernment, not dread. Discernment feels quiet. It feels watchful. It feels like something urging you to slow down and pay attention to what you have been tolerating, overlooking, or postponing. Also understand this. When God allows disruption, it is often because something has been misaligned for too long. Comfort without truth becomes dangerous. Stability without integrity becomes fragile. The disaster removes what cannot stand under truth. That is not destruction, that is correction. If you feel called to simplify your life right now, honor that. If you feel drawn to silence, prayer, or distance from certain people, honor that too. These are not reactions, they are preparations. Nothing is happening to harm you. Something is happening to position you, and those who are positioned do not panic. They watch, they listen, and they trust. Remain calm. You are being guided through this, not thrown into it. Why chosen ones are warned first? Chosen ones, there is a reason this message reached you before it reached others. And I want you to listen to this not with pride, but with responsibility. Being warned first is not about superiority. It is about assignment. God does not warn everyone the same way because not everyone carries the same calling, the same sensitivity, or the same responsibility. Chosen ones are warned first because they are expected to remain steady when others collapse. You see, God never wastes information. He releases awareness where it can be held without panic. If certain people were given this warning, they would spiral into fear, speculation, or reckless action. But you are different. You have been trained through trials, isolation, delays, and spiritual pressure. Those experiences were not punishments, they were preparation. They taught you how to stay calm when things shift suddenly. Chosen ones are not chosen because they are perfect. They are chosen because they are responsive. They listen. They observe. They adjust. They do not need everything explained loudly. Subtle signals are enough. That is why warnings come to you quietly, through intuition, through restlessness, through changes in atmosphere, and yes, sometimes through the behavior of animals. God warns you first because you are meant to move differently. While others react emotionally, you respond spiritually. While others panic, you discern. While others cling, you release. That is not weakness. That is maturity. Let me tell you something important. Many people believe being chosen means being protected from difficulty. That is only half true. Being chosen means being protected through difficulty, not from it. You still walk through transitions. You still face loss. You still experience shaking. But you are not blindsided by it. You are prepared internally before it manifests externally. This is why chosen ones often feel out of place in the world. You sense shifts before others do. You feel tension before words are spoken. You notice cracks before structures fall. That sensitivity is not a burden, it is a tool. But it only becomes a tool if you trust it instead of suppressing it. God warns chosen ones first because they are often anchors in their environments. When things begin to shake, people unconsciously look to you for stability. They may not know why, but they feel it. Your calm becomes contagious. Your stillness becomes guidance. Your clarity becomes refuge. But here is the part many people misunderstand. You are not warned so you can run ahead and announce disaster to everyone. That is not your role. Fear spreads faster than truth. Your role is not to alarm. Your role is to align. When you align yourself, your presence alone becomes protection for others. This is why warnings come in subtle forms. Loud warnings create noise. Quiet warnings create readiness. God speaks to chosen ones in ways that require discernment, because discernment grows through use. If everything were obvious, your spiritual muscles would weaken. Think about this. If God shouted every warning, people would obey out of fear. But God desires obedience rooted in trust. Subtle warnings invite trust. They ask you to listen, not react. To reflect, not panic. To align, not escape. Chosen ones are also warned first because they are meant to pass through transitions without losing their identity. When chaos hits, many people forget who they are. They compromise, they cling, they abandon values just to feel safe. But you have already been stripped of false identities in previous seasons. There is less left to shake loose. This is also why your warnings often come through unusual channels. Dreams, feelings, patterns, behavior changes in animals, moments of stillness. God uses what you will notice. He does not waste effort speaking in languages you ignore. Your pet warning you is not random. It is intentional. It is gentle. It is non-threatening. It is a signal that requires awareness, not action. God knows that you will not dismiss it, but you also will not dramatize it. That balance is why you are trusted with early signals. Let me say this with clarity. Being warned first does not mean you are exempt from responsibility. It means your responsibility is greater. You are expected to guard your peace, to choose your words carefully, to avoid spreading fear, to remain anchored in faith. Some of you may feel the urge to withdraw slightly during this season. That is wisdom, not avoidance. Others may feel called to simplify their lives. That is alignment, not loss. Others may feel a deep urge to pray without knowing exactly why. That is preparation. God warns chosen ones first because they are builders, not reactors. Builders prepare foundations before storms arrive. Reactors scramble after damage has already occurred. Also understand this. Warning does not mean immediacy. Some of you hear the word disaster and assume it will happen tomorrow. That is not how God operates. Warning creates margin, time to adjust, time to release, time to strengthen what truly matters. Chosen ones, you have been warned before in other seasons, and if you look back, you will realize that those warnings saved you from attachments, relationships, or decisions that would have cost you dearly. This season is no different. It only feels heavier because the shift is deeper. Do not misuse this warning by becoming hypervigilant or anxious. That is not discernment. Discernment is calm awareness. It is watching without fear, listening without obsession, trusting without rushing. God warns you first because He knows you can handle truth without losing peace. That alone tells you how much you are trusted. In the next part, I will explain what God is asking you to do right now, not in action, but in posture. Stay steady. You are walking exactly as you should. What God is asking you to do right now. Chosen ones. This is the moment where many people expect a list of urgent actions, dramatic instructions, or extreme changes. But God is not asking you to run. He is not asking you to warn the world. He is not asking you to panic or prepare for disaster in the way the world understands preparation. What God is asking of you right now is much quieter, much deeper, and far more powerful. God is asking you to adjust your posture. Posture is not about movement. It is about alignment. It is the position of your heart, your mind, and your spirit. When posture is correct, action becomes natural. When posture is wrong, even good actions create harm. The first thing God is asking you to do right now is to slow down internally. Even if your life remains busy on the outside, your inner world must become calmer. Too many chosen ones are constantly processing, analyzing, worrying, and anticipating. That mental noise interferes with discernment. God's guidance becomes clearer in stillness, not speed. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is space for truth. You are being asked to listen more than you speak. That includes listening to your intuition, listening to your emotional reactions, and listening to moments of discomfort. Discomfort is often the first signal that something is misaligned. Do not rush to fix it. Sit with it. Let clarity rise instead of forcing answers. God is also asking you to simplify. Simplification is not loss. It is refinement. Look at what is draining you unnecessarily. Conversations that leave you heavy. Commitments that feel forced. Distractions that numb rather than restore. You do not need to remove everything at once. Awareness alone begins the process. Right now, your energy is precious. Where you place it matters more than ever. Another thing God is asking is restraint. This is not the season to over-explain yourself. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, fears, or plans. Chosen ones often feel pressure to help, explain, or fix. But silence can be protection. Privacy can be wisdom. Boundaries can be obedience. Some of you feel an urge to pull back slightly from certain people or environments. Do not guilt yourself for that. That pullback is not rejection. It is recalibration. God often creates distance before clarity. Prayer is also being redefined in this season. God is not asking for louder prayers or longer words. He is asking for honesty. Speak plainly. Sit quietly. Let prayer become conversation instead of performance. Let it become grounding instead of pleading. You may notice a stronger desire for rest. Honor it. Fatigue clouds discernment. Rest sharpens it. God often restores strength before he reveals next steps. Do not mistake rest for delay. Rest is preparation. You are also being asked to release control. This is difficult for many chosen ones because you are used to holding things together. You see what others miss. You anticipate outcomes. You intervene before damage occurs. But this season requires trust. Not passivity, but trust. Trust means you stop trying to predict every outcome. You stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios. You stop carrying responsibility that does not belong to you. Trust creates peace, even when answers are incomplete. Another instruction is discernment without obsession. Pay attention, but do not fixate. Notice signs, but do not chase them. Awareness becomes unhealthy when it turns into anxiety. If a thought repeatedly steals your peace, it is not guidance. God's instructions bring clarity, not confusion. Let me say this clearly. God is not asking you to isolate completely. He is asking you to choose wisely. Choose environments that ground you. Choose people who speak truth without drama. Choose habits that strengthen your spirit instead of numbing it. This is also a season to forgive internally. Not necessarily to reconcile outwardly, but to release resentment. Resentment ties you emotionally to the past. You cannot walk lightly into the next season while carrying old weight. You may feel drawn to scripture, reflection, or spiritual study more than usual. That is alignment. Feed it, but do not overwhelm yourself. Depth matters more than volume. God is also asking you to remain flexible. Plans may change, expectations may shift, opportunities may appear differently than you imagined. Flexibility is not instability. It is trust in guidance over control. Most importantly, God is asking you to remain calm. Calm is not denial. Calm is confidence. Calm tells your nervous system that you are safe. And safety allows discernment to function properly. Your pet warning you is not a call to action. It is a call to awareness. And awareness leads to wise posture. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not unprepared. You are exactly where you need to be. In the next part, I will explain how this warning is actually protecting you, even if it does not feel dramatic or urgent. Stay grounded. Stay present. You are being guided gently and precisely. Chosen ones, let me add this final layer because some of you are wondering if you are doing enough. That question alone tells me your heart is in the right place. But hear me clearly. This season is not about doing more. It is about doing less with more intention. God is asking you to stop forcing outcomes. When something resists you repeatedly, pause. Resistance is not always opposition. Sometimes it is redirection. If a door does not open smoothly, do not push harder. Step back and observe what is unfolding around it. Peace often confirms direction more clearly than urgency ever could. You are also being asked to trust your body. Tension, fatigue, and restlessness are signals. They are not weaknesses. When your body asks for rest, respond. When your spirit feels heavy around certain situations, honor that feeling. Discernment lives in the body as much as it lives in the mind. Finally, God is asking you to remain gentle with yourself. Transition can feel disorienting even when it is guided. Do not criticize yourself for moments of doubt or tiredness. Strength is not the absence of vulnerability. Strength is staying aligned even while feeling it. Nothing is being demanded of you beyond awareness, trust, and alignment. That is enough. You are enough, and you are being carried through this season with care, not pressure. How this warning will actually protect you. Chosen ones, I want you to understand something deeply reassuring now. This warning was not given to trouble your spirit, it was given to protect it. Protection does not always come in the form of barriers or escape routes. Often, protection comes in the form of awareness, and awareness changes everything. When you are aware, you are no longer caught off guard. Surprise is what creates panic. Awareness creates steadiness. This warning has already done part of its work simply by reaching you. You are reading this with clarity, not fear. That alone tells you that protection is already active. This warning protects you first by shifting your focus inward. Instead of obsessing over external events, you are being guided to stabilize your inner world. A stable inner world cannot be easily shaken by external chaos. When others react emotionally, you remain anchored. That anchoring becomes your shield. Chosen ones who are warned ahead of time do not get swept into urgency. Urgency leads to poor decisions. Calm awareness leads to wisdom. This warning slows you down just enough to prevent impulsive reactions. It keeps you from rushing into decisions based on fear, pressure, or incomplete information. Protection also comes through discernment. You are becoming more selective without becoming suspicious. You are more observant without becoming anxious. This balance is rare, and it is powerful. It allows you to sense when to step forward and when to stay still. Many disasters harm people not because they happen, but because people move at the wrong time. Another way this warning protects you is by loosening unhealthy attachments before they can hurt you. When something collapses that you were warned about, it hurts less. You already adjusted emotionally. You already released expectations. You already accepted the possibility of change. That emotional preparation is protection. For many chosen ones, this warning will prevent unnecessary conflict. When tensions rise, you will choose silence over argument, distance over drama, wisdom over being right. That restraint protects your energy, your reputation, and your peace. You are also being protected from absorbing collective panic. Fear spreads quickly, it becomes contagious, but awareness creates immunity. When fear tries to enter, discernment blocks it. You do not deny reality, you simply refuse to amplify chaos. This warning also protects your faith. When unexpected changes occur, you will not interpret them as abandonment. You will recognize them as alignment. That interpretation keeps your trust intact. Faith collapses when people feel blindsided. Faith strengthens when people recognize preparation. Your pet's behavior plays a role here too. Animals bring grounding. Their presence pulls you into the present moment. While the mind wants to jump ahead, your pet anchors you in now. That grounding reduces anxiety. It regulates your nervous system. It keeps you connected to what is real rather than what is imagined. Protection also comes through positioning. You may find yourself instinctively avoiding certain situations, places, or conversations. Not out of fear, but out of disinterest or fatigue. That is not coincidence. That is guidance. Many dangers are avoided not by confrontation, but by redirection. Let me tell you something important. Being protected does not mean nothing will change. It means change will not destroy you. You may feel discomfort, you may feel grief, you may feel uncertainty, but you will not feel lost. You will not feel abandoned. You will not feel powerless. This warning is also protecting you by strengthening your intuition. Every time you trust it, it becomes sharper. Every time you honor it, it becomes clearer. Discernment grows through use. This season is refining your ability to listen without needing proof. Chosen ones who are protected often appear unbothered during chaos, not because they are numb, but because they are prepared. That preparedness gives them the ability to help others calmly, without being drained or overwhelmed. This warning also protects you from spiritual burnout. Instead of reacting to everything, you are learning to choose where your energy goes. You are learning that not every battle is yours. Not every issue requires your involvement. Selectivity preserves strength. Finally, this warning protects your future peace. By paying attention now, you avoid deeper pain later. By releasing earlier, you suffer less later. By aligning now, you flow more easily later. Nothing about this warning is meant to trap you in fear. It is meant to free you from surprise. Surprise disorients. Awareness stabilizes. You are not being warned because danger is looming over you. You are being warned because you are stepping into a season that requires clarity, calm, and trust. In the final part, I will bring everything together and remind you why this message reached you at this exact moment. Stay steady. You are covered. Conclusion. Your pet was sent as a guardian. Chosen ones, let me leave you with peace, not fear, because fear was never the purpose of this message. Your pet was not placed in your life by accident. They are not just a companion. They are a quiet guardian, a living reminder that God watches over you in ways you do not always recognize. What you noticed was not imagination. It was awareness awakening at the right time. This message reached you exactly when it needed to. Not earlier, not later, at the perfect moment. That alone should reassure you. God does not warn without intention, and He does not reveal without protection already in place. Nothing is spiraling out of control. Something is being corrected, refined, and aligned for your good. If changes begin to unfold around you, remember this. You were not caught off guard. You were prepared. While others react in confusion, you remain grounded. While others panic, you observe. That calm is your covering. Your pet's behavior was not a signal to run. It was a signal to remain present, alert, and aligned. You are not in danger. You are being positioned. Trust what you are sensing. Trust the stillness God is giving you. And trust that what is being removed is making room for something better. Before you go, chosen ones, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share it with other chosen ones who need clarity right now, and comment 777 to declare that you are protected, aligned, and walking confidently in God's guidance. Stay calm, stay faithful, stay aware. You are guarded, you are chosen, and you are never alone.